What if the biggest thing holding you back is not a lack of talent, money, or opportunity, but the way you think before you act? Many people work hard every day, yet they keep making the same mistakes, repeating the same habits, and wondering why their lives never truly change. They react instead of preparing. They make decisions based on pressure instead of purpose. Over time, those small choices quietly shape an average life. This audiobook is designed to help you break that pattern. You will discover practical ways to think more clearly, make wiser decisions, strengthen self-discipline, build better habits, stay calm during challenges, improve your relationships, and develop lasting confidence through continuous learning. Every lesson is built around simple actions you can apply in your everyday life, whether you are trying to improve your career, your finances, your health, or your personal growth. Real change does not happen because you read inspiring words once. It happens when you begin making better choices consistently, even in ordinary moments. That is exactly what this journey is about. As you continue listening, you may begin to recognize habits that have quietly limited your progress and discover practical ways to replace them with stronger ones. One thoughtful decision can change a day. Many thoughtful decisions can change an entire life. If you are ready to stop reacting to life and start leading it with greater wisdom, discipline, and purpose, stay with this audiobook until the very end. The next lesson could become the turning point that changes how you think, how you act, and ultimately, how you live. Chapter 1. Accept complete responsibility and transform your life starting today. Every meaningful change begins with one decision. That decision is to stop waiting for life to become easier and start becoming stronger yourself. Many people spend years hoping that different circumstances will finally bring peace, success, or confidence. They believe that a better job, more money, a supportive friend, or the perfect opportunity will solve their problems. Sometimes those things help, but they never replace the power that comes from accepting complete responsibility for your own life. Responsibility is often misunderstood. Some people hear the word and immediately think of blame. They imagine carrying the weight of every mistake and every hardship. Real responsibility is different. It is not about punishing yourself for what happened yesterday. It is about recognizing that today belongs to you. No matter where you started, no matter what happened before this moment, your next decision is still yours to make. This simple truth has changed countless lives. The moment a person stops asking why life is unfair and starts asking what they can do next, everything begins to shift. Problems become challenges instead of permanent barriers. Mistakes become lessons instead of proof of failure. Fear loses much of its power because action replaces endless worry. Every day presents small choices that quietly shape the future. Most people focus only on the biggest decisions. They believe success depends on one perfect opportunity. In reality, life is built through ordinary moments. Choosing to wake up when the alarm rings instead of pressing the snooze button. Choosing to speak kindly instead of reacting with anger. Choosing to save a small amount instead of spending without thinking. Choosing to finish one important task before opening social media. These decisions seem small, but repeated over weeks, months, and years, they completely change a person's direction. There will always be things outside your control. You cannot control the weather, other people's opinions, unexpected setbacks, or events that have already happened. Spending energy fighting those realities only creates frustration. A wise person learns to separate what belongs to them from what does not. Your thoughts belong to you. Your habits belong to you. Your effort belongs to you. Your attitude belongs to you. These are the areas where your energy creates results. Imagine two people facing the same obstacle. One immediately begins listing excuses. They blame bad luck, difficult circumstances, unfair treatment, and other people. The second person notices the same difficulty but asks a different question. They ask, "What can I do right now?" That single question creates movement. Even if progress is slow, it is still progress. Responsibility turns helplessness into possibility. Many people delay change because they believe they need confidence before taking action. The truth works in the opposite direction. Confidence grows after repeated action. Every small promise you keep to yourself strengthens trust in your own character. When you decide to exercise for 15 minutes and actually do it, you become slightly stronger mentally. When you finish a task, even though you do not feel motivated, you teach yourself that feelings do not control your actions. Character is built through repeated proof, not hopeful thinking. There will be days when you feel tired, discouraged, or uncertain. Those days matter more than the easy ones. Anyone can stay committed when life feels comfortable. Real growth appears when discipline continues despite discomfort. A calm and steady mind does not appear by accident. It is developed by choosing the right action again and again, even when emotions suggest giving up. Accepting responsibility also means speaking honestly with yourself. It is easy to pretend that everything is fine while quietly repeating unhealthy habits. Honest self-reflection requires courage. It asks uncomfortable questions. Are your daily actions moving you closer to your goals? Are your habits helping or hurting your future? Are you blaming circumstances instead of improving your own decisions? Honest answers create opportunities for real improvement. This honesty should never become harsh self-criticism. Constantly attacking yourself does not create strength. It creates fear and hesitation. A disciplined person accepts mistakes without making them part of their identity. Making a poor decision does not make you a poor person. Missing one opportunity does not mean you will miss every opportunity. Failure is information. It reveals what needs adjustment. The lesson only disappears when you refuse to learn. Think about how many hours disappear each week without intention. A few minutes checking your phone become an hour. One unnecessary distraction becomes another. At the end of the day, important goals remain unfinished. Responsibility means becoming aware of where your time actually goes. Time is one resource that cannot be replaced. Money can be earned again. Opportunities can return. Lost time never comes back. One practical exercise can begin immediately. At the end of every evening, spend 5 quiet minutes reviewing your day. Ask yourself 3 simple questions. What did I do well today? What could I improve tomorrow? What is the most important action for the next morning? These questions require very little time, but they gradually sharpen your awareness. Small improvements made consistently create remarkable results over time. Another powerful habit is replacing complaints with solutions. Every complaint should be followed by one possible action. If work feels stressful, identify one task that would reduce tomorrow's pressure. If your health concerns you, plan one healthier meal or one short walk. If your finances worry you, review one expense you can reduce. Solutions create momentum. Complaints create emotional exhaustion. Responsibility also changes how you see setbacks. Instead of asking why something happened to you, ask what the experience can teach you. Every challenge develops qualities that comfort never produces. Patience grows through waiting. Courage grows through fear. Wisdom grows through mistakes honestly examined. Resilience grows each time you continue after disappointment. The strongest people are rarely those who experience the easiest lives. They became strong because difficult moments demanded better decisions. Every challenge became training instead of defeat. They accepted reality without surrendering to it. This mindset can be learned by anyone willing to practice it consistently. Pay attention to the language you use with yourself. Words influence actions. Saying, "I have to," often creates resistance. Saying, "I choose to," reminds you that your actions reflect your values. Instead of saying, "I have to wake up early," think, "I choose to wake up early because my future matters." Instead of saying, "I have to save money," think, "I choose to build financial security." These small shifts strengthen personal ownership. Another important part of responsibility is protecting your environment. Your surroundings quietly influence your decisions every day. A clean workspace encourages focus. Healthy food within reach supports better eating habits. Books placed where you can see them encourage learning. Turning off unnecessary notifications protects your attention. Success becomes easier when your environment supports your goals instead of constantly fighting against them. Relationships also improve when responsibility becomes a daily practice. Instead of waiting for others to communicate better, become a better listener. Instead of expecting constant appreciation, offer genuine gratitude first. Instead of reacting immediately during disagreements, pause before responding. These actions cannot control another person's behavior, but they always strengthen your own character. There will always be uncertainty about the future. No strategy removes every risk. No amount of planning guarantees perfect outcomes. The goal is not complete certainty. The goal is becoming the kind of person who can handle uncertainty with calm judgment. Responsibility creates that strength because it teaches you to focus on preparation instead of prediction. Progress often feels slower than expected. Many people quit because they cannot immediately see dramatic results. A seed does not become a tree overnight. Growth happens quietly long before it becomes visible. Daily discipline works the same way. Reading 10 pages each day may seem insignificant until 1 year passes. Saving a small amount regularly may appear unimportant until it becomes meaningful financial security. Walking every morning may feel ordinary until your health noticeably improves. Consistency produces results that intensity alone never can. One of the greatest gifts you can give yourself is becoming someone who keeps promises made in private. Public achievements often begin with invisible victories. Waking up when nobody is watching, finishing work without seeking praise, choosing integrity even when shortcuts appear easier. These moments shape identity. Eventually, your actions become automatic because they reflect who you have chosen to become. Fear often whispers that change is impossible because you have failed before. That voice ignores one important truth. The past cannot decide today's choices unless you allow it to. Every sunrise offers another opportunity to act differently. The future is not built from yesterday's mistakes. It is built from today's decisions repeated consistently. Imagine looking back 1 year from now. Picture yourself healthier because you honored your daily commitments. Picture stronger relationships because you communicated with patience and honesty. Picture greater financial stability because you spent thoughtfully. Picture a calmer mind because you focused on what you could control instead of worrying about everything you could not. None of these outcomes require perfection. They require responsibility, practiced one decision at a time. The world will continue changing. Challenges will appear without warning. Unexpected disappointments will test your resolve. Yet no circumstance can prevent you from choosing your response. That choice remains your greatest source of freedom. It cannot be taken away by difficult people, changing conditions, or temporary failures. Transformation does not begin with dramatic announcements or perfect plans. It begins with quiet decisions made repeatedly. It begins when you stop waiting for rescue and become your own leader. It begins when excuses lose their influence and action becomes your habit. It begins when responsibility becomes your daily standard instead of an occasional effort. The person you become over the next year is already being shaped by the decisions you make today. Every thoughtful action is a vote for the future you want. Every disciplined choice strengthens your ability to face tomorrow with confidence. Accept complete responsibility, not because life is always fair, but because your future deserves your best effort. The strongest foundation for lasting success has never been perfect circumstances. It has always been the courage to own your choices, improve your habits, and continue moving forward, one deliberate step at a time. Chapter 2. Identify hidden weaknesses and build stronger daily habits consistently. Growth becomes possible only when you are willing to see yourself clearly. Most people spend years trying to improve the visible parts of their lives while ignoring the hidden patterns quietly shaping every result. They focus on bigger goals, better opportunities, and new strategies, yet the real obstacles often remain untouched. The habits that steal time, the thoughts that create hesitation, the reactions that weaken relationships, and the routines that slowly drain energy rarely demand attention. They stay hidden because they have become familiar. Familiar behaviors often feel normal, even when they are limiting your future. Every person has strengths that help them move forward, but every person also carries weaknesses that deserve honest attention. These weaknesses are not permanent flaws, they are areas waiting for improvement. Seeing them clearly is not an act of self-criticism, it is an act of wisdom. A person who refuses to recognize weakness cannot strengthen it. A person who welcomes honest observation gains the ability to change. Many hidden weaknesses do not appear during comfortable moments, they become visible under pressure. Notice how you respond when plans suddenly change. Pay attention to your reactions when someone disagrees with you. Observe your choices when you feel tired, disappointed, or overwhelmed. These situations reveal habits that ordinary days often hide. Stress does not create character. It exposes the habits already living inside you. One common weakness is delaying important work. People often describe it as waiting for the right mood or the perfect moment. In reality, important work rarely begins because conditions become perfect. It begins because someone chooses to start before they feel completely ready. Every time an important task is delayed without a good reason, confidence quietly decreases. The unfinished responsibility remains in the mind, creating unnecessary pressure. Beginning the task, even for a short time, usually reduces that burden immediately. Another hidden weakness appears in the way people use their attention. Modern life constantly competes for focus. A message appears, a notification interrupts, another video promises entertainment. A quick check turns into wasted time. None of these moments seem harmful by themselves, but together they quietly shape an entire day. Attention is one of your most valuable resources because wherever it goes, your energy follows. Protecting your focus is not about avoiding technology, it is about deciding who controls your time. Many people also underestimate the effect of small emotional habits, becoming irritated over minor inconveniences, expecting the worst before trying, comparing yourself with others, or replaying negative conversations again and again, slowly changes the quality of everyday life. These reactions often become automatic because they have been repeated for years. The good news is that anything learned through repetition can also be replaced through repetition. Begin by observing yourself without judgment. Spend several days simply paying attention. Notice which situations repeatedly create frustration. Notice which promises to yourself are frequently broken. Notice the times when you avoid difficult conversations, postpone meaningful work, or seek comfort instead of progress. Observation creates awareness. Awareness creates choice. Choice creates change. Writing these observations down makes them more useful. Memory is often selective. It protects comfort by forgetting inconvenient truths. A notebook does not protect comfort. It records reality. At the end of each day, write 3 habits that helped you and 1 habit that held you back. After 1 week, clear patterns begin to appear. You may discover that your energy drops during certain hours, that unnecessary distractions follow stressful moments, or that negative thinking appears after spending time with certain influences. These discoveries provide practical direction instead of vague frustration. Once a weakness becomes visible, resist the temptation to change everything at once. Large changes often create excitement for a few days before becoming overwhelming. Lasting improvement grows through smaller adjustments, repeated consistently. Choose 1 habit that would create the greatest positive effect. Focus completely on strengthening that habit before adding another. Imagine someone who wants better physical health. Instead of creating an impossible schedule filled with difficult workouts and strict rules, they begin with 1 simple commitment. They walk for 20 minutes every morning before checking their phone. The habit feels manageable, so they continue. After several weeks, that single action becomes part of their identity. Additional healthy choices begin to feel natural because they are built on an existing foundation instead of temporary motivation. This principle applies to every area of life. Reading 10 pages every evening eventually becomes dozens of completed books. Saving a small amount each week grows into financial stability. Practicing 1 meaningful conversation each day strengthens communication skills. Improvement rarely arrives through dramatic effort. It grows quietly through repeated actions that become ordinary. Consistency is more valuable than intensity. Working extremely hard for 3 days and then stopping produces little lasting progress. Steady effort over months transforms abilities, habits, and character. Imagine filling a container with 1 glass of water every day. At first, the progress seems almost invisible. Eventually, the container becomes full because the action continued. Personal development follows the same pattern. Daily effort accumulates even when immediate results cannot be seen. One effective way to strengthen consistency is reducing unnecessary decisions. Every decision requires mental energy. Prepare tomorrow's priorities before going to sleep. Place your workout clothes where they are easy to reach. Keep healthy food available. Organize your workspace before finishing the day. These simple preparations reduce resistance because the next good decision becomes easier. Another powerful practice is connecting habits to existing routines. If you already drink coffee every morning, spend 5 minutes reading immediately afterward. If you always eat dinner at home, write tomorrow's priorities before leaving the table. If brushing your teeth happens every evening without fail, spend 2 minutes practicing gratitude immediately afterward. Attaching new habits to established routines increases the chance they will continue naturally. Many people abandon good habits because they expect perfection. 1 missed day convinces them they have failed. This mindset creates unnecessary disappointment. Missing 1 day is rarely the problem. Repeating the missed day again and again creates the real danger. When a habit is interrupted, return to it immediately. Avoid turning 1 mistake into a permanent pattern. Another hidden weakness appears in unrealistic expectations. Some people expect immediate transformation after a few days of effort. When dramatic results fail to appear, they assume the process is not working. Lasting growth rarely announces itself with sudden excitement. It develops quietly. Better decisions become slightly easier. Patience increases. focus improves, emotional reactions become calmer. These small improvements often go unnoticed until someone realizes they are handling situations that once felt impossible. Pay attention to the people surrounding you as well. Habits spread through environments. Spending time with disciplined people naturally encourages discipline. Being around individuals who constantly complain often increases negative thinking. This does not mean avoiding everyone who struggles. It means recognizing that repeated influence shapes repeated behavior. Choose relationships that encourage responsibility, honesty, and growth. Your physical environment deserves attention too. A cluttered space often creates a distracted mind. A clean and organized room supports clearer thinking. Visible reminders of your goals strengthen commitment. Removing unnecessary temptations reduces the need for constant self-control. Building better habits becomes easier when your surroundings quietly support your intentions. Rest is another area where hidden weakness frequently appears. Many people confuse exhaustion with dedication. They sacrifice sleep, ignore recovery, and expect consistent performance from an exhausted mind. A tired brain struggles to make wise decisions. Patience decreases, focus weakens, emotional reactions become stronger. Quality sleep is not a reward earned after success. It is part of the preparation required to achieve success. Nutrition and movement deserve the same respect. Your body influences your thoughts more than you may realize. Regular movement increases energy. Balanced meals improve concentration. Drinking enough water supports clear thinking throughout the day. Small physical improvements often create significant mental benefits because the mind and body constantly influence each other. There is also great value in practicing deliberate discomfort. Choose small challenges that strengthen resilience. Take the stairs instead of the elevator. Finish an important task before seeking entertainment. Have the conversation you have been avoiding. Wake up at the planned time instead of negotiating with yourself. These moments teach your mind that temporary discomfort is not something to fear. It becomes evidence that growth is taking place. Celebrate progress without becoming satisfied too early. Appreciate every improvement while remembering there is always another level of character to develop. Humility protects progress because it keeps learning alive. Confidence should come from knowing you are improving, not from believing there is nothing left to improve. Every evening offers an opportunity to review the day with honesty. Ask yourself where your habits reflected your values and where they drifted away. Do not search for reasons to feel guilty. Search for opportunities to become wiser tomorrow. This simple reflection gradually strengthens awareness until better choices become increasingly automatic. The strongest habits are not driven by emotion. They are supported by clear values. A person who values health chooses movement even when comfort feels attractive. A person who values integrity tells the truth even when dishonesty appears easier. A person who values growth continues learning even after achieving success. Values provide direction when feelings become uncertain. Remember that improvement is not a race against other people. Someone else's speed has nothing to do with your journey. The only meaningful comparison is between the person you were yesterday and the person you are becoming today. Small daily victories deserve respect because they represent lasting change rather than temporary excitement. Every habit you repeat becomes part of your future. Every weakness you honestly examine becomes an opportunity for strength. Every consistent action shapes your identity one day at a time. You do not become disciplined through one extraordinary decision. You become disciplined by making ordinary decisions with extraordinary consistency. The hidden weaknesses that once limited your progress gradually lose their influence as stronger habits quietly take their place. Over time, those daily choices become the foundation of a life marked by stability, purpose, resilience, and steady personal growth. Chapter 3. Replace negative thoughts with confident, purposeful daily actions. Your life is influenced not only by what happens around you, but also by the conversations that happen inside your mind every single day. Long before any action is taken, a thought appears. That thought grows into a belief. The belief shapes a decision, and the decision eventually creates a result. This process happens so quietly that most people never stop to examine it. They accept every thought as truth without asking whether it deserves their attention. Yet many of the thoughts that create hesitation, fear, and doubt are not facts. They are simply habits of thinking that have been repeated so often they feel familiar. A negative thought often arrives without invitation. It may tell you that you are not capable enough, that success belongs to other people, or that one mistake has ruined your chances forever. These messages can seem convincing because they speak with certainty. However, certainty does not make them accurate. The mind can become skilled at creating stories that have little connection to reality. The challenge is not preventing every negative thought from appearing. The challenge is refusing to let those thoughts become the leaders of your actions. Many people spend enormous amounts of energy trying to eliminate negative thinking completely. They become frustrated because difficult thoughts continue to return. The human mind naturally notices risks, uncertainty, and possible failure. This ability once helped people survive danger. Today, that same tendency often creates unnecessary worry about situations that may never happen. Instead of fighting every unwanted thought, learn to guide your attention toward meaningful action. Action has a remarkable ability to reduce the influence of unnecessary fear. Imagine waking up with thoughts telling you that the day will probably go badly. You could spend the morning arguing with those thoughts, searching for reasons to feel better, or waiting for motivation to appear. Hours may pass while nothing changes. Another approach is far more effective. Get out of bed, drink a glass of water, make your bed, take a short walk, review your priorities, and begin the first important task. The negative thoughts may still exist, but they no longer control your direction. Your actions begin writing a different story. This is one of the greatest lessons a disciplined person can learn. Thoughts deserve observation, not automatic obedience. You are responsible for your choices, even when your emotions feel unsettled. A calm and purposeful action often carries more power than 100 encouraging thoughts that never become reality. Negative thinking also becomes stronger when life lacks clear direction. A wandering mind often creates unnecessary problems because it has no meaningful target. Purpose gives the mind something constructive to focus on. Every morning, decide what truly matters before distractions begin competing for your attention. Write down the 3 most important actions for the day. Keep them realistic. Completing meaningful work creates evidence that you are moving forward, and evidence gradually weakens self-doubt. Confidence is often misunderstood as a feeling that appears before success. In reality, confidence grows from repeated proof. Every promise you keep to yourself becomes evidence that you are dependable. Every challenge you face without avoiding it becomes evidence that you are stronger than yesterday. Confidence is built through completed actions, not hopeful imagination. Consider someone preparing for an important presentation. Negative thoughts might predict embarrassment, criticism, or failure. Those thoughts become louder if preparation is ignored. Instead of feeding fear with endless worry, focus on practical steps. Practice the presentation several times. Improve weak sections. Speak clearly while standing. Record yourself and listen carefully. Preparation transforms uncertainty into readiness. The mind becomes quieter because your effort has provided genuine reasons for confidence. Many people unknowingly strengthen negative thinking by giving it too much attention. A single mistake becomes the focus of an entire day, while dozens of successful moments are forgotten. This habit creates an unfair picture of reality. Learn to examine your day with balance. Notice what went well, alongside what needs improvement. Honest reflection includes both strengths and weaknesses. Ignoring either one creates an incomplete understanding of yourself. Words also shape the quality of your thinking. Pay attention to absolute language such as always, never, or everything. A person who says, "I always fail," overlooks every success they have ever experienced. Someone who says, "Nothing ever works," ignores the progress already made. Replace exaggerated conclusions with accurate observations. Instead of saying, "I failed completely," say, "This attempt did not produce the result I wanted, and I can improve my approach." Truth creates stability, while exaggeration creates unnecessary discouragement. Another important practice is separating your identity from your temporary performance. Missing a goal does not define your character. Making one poor decision does not determine your future. A person can perform badly without becoming a failure. This distinction protects hope while encouraging responsibility. Your actions can improve because your identity is not permanently attached to yesterday's outcome. Daily movement is another powerful tool for changing the quality of your thoughts. Physical activity often reduces mental tension because it directs energy towards something productive. A simple walk outside, a workout, stretching, or any consistent form of movement helps interrupt cycles of overthinking. During movement, the mind often becomes clearer because attention shifts away from endless analysis toward purposeful effort. Gratitude also deserves a place in everyday life, not because it ignores difficulties, but because it restores perspective. Negative thinking naturally highlights what is missing. Gratitude notices what remains available. At the end of each day, write down 3 specific things that brought value to your life. They do not need to be extraordinary. A meaningful conversation, completing an important task, enjoying a peaceful meal, or learning something new are all reminders that life contains more than problems. This habit trains your attention to recognize opportunities instead of constantly searching for threats. Protecting your mental environment is equally important. Every piece of information you consume influences your thinking. Constant exposure to fear, outrage, and comparison gradually shapes your emotional state. Choose carefully what enters your mind. Read books that strengthen wisdom. Listen to conversations that encourage growth. Spend time with people who solve problems instead of creating unnecessary drama. A healthy mind requires intentional nourishment, just as the body requires healthy food. Another common source of negative thinking is comparison. Looking at someone else's achievements without understanding their journey creates unnecessary dissatisfaction. Every person carries different experiences, different opportunities, and different challenges. Comparing your beginning to someone else's middle creates frustration rather than motivation. Direct your attention toward your own progress. Ask whether today's actions are improving your future. That question matters far more than measuring yourself against another person's timeline. Purposeful action often begins with very small decisions. If your home feels disorganized, clean one room instead of worrying about the entire house. If your finances need improvement, review one expense today rather than becoming overwhelmed by the future. If your relationships need attention, send one thoughtful message or have one honest conversation. Small actions build momentum because they replace helplessness with movement. There will be moments when negative thoughts seem especially convincing. During disappointment, loss, uncertainty, or failure, the mind often predicts permanent defeat. These are the moments when discipline matters most. Pause before accepting those predictions. Ask yourself whether your thoughts are supported by evidence or driven by temporary emotion. Often you will discover that fear is describing possibilities rather than realities. Patience becomes another essential strength. Lasting improvement rarely appears immediately. People sometimes abandon meaningful work because progress feels slower than expected. Yet many valuable achievements require time before visible results appear. Learning a skill, improving health, rebuilding trust, strengthening finances, or developing wisdom all depend on consistent effort rather than instant success. Continue acting according to your values, even when external results have not yet arrived. Your morning routine has a significant influence on the direction of your thinking. Beginning the day by immediately checking messages, news, or social media allows outside influences to shape your emotional state before you have established your own priorities. Instead, begin with quiet reflection, reading, writing, exercise, or reviewing your goals. Starting with intention creates greater mental stability throughout the day. The questions you ask yourself also determine the quality of your thinking. Instead of asking, "Why does this always happen to me?" ask, "What can I learn from this situation?" Instead of asking, "What if everything goes wrong?" ask, "What is the next useful step I can take?" Better questions produce better thinking because they direct attention toward growth rather than helplessness. Forgiveness also plays an important role in replacing destructive thoughts. Many people continue punishing themselves for decisions made years earlier. They replay old failures repeatedly while ignoring the person they have become since then. Accept the lesson without carrying endless guilt. Wisdom comes from remembering what the experience taught you, not from endlessly reliving the pain it caused. Purpose grows stronger when connected to service. When your daily actions contribute to improving the lives of others, your own challenges often become easier to manage. Helping a family member, encouraging a friend, performing your work with excellence, or sharing useful knowledge gives your effort deeper meaning. A meaningful purpose creates resilience because it extends beyond personal comfort. As you continue practicing purposeful action, you will notice an important change. Negative thoughts may still appear, but they remain visitors instead of permanent residents. They lose much of their influence because your habits consistently prove a different reality. Every completed task becomes evidence of discipline. Every challenge faced with courage becomes evidence of resilience. Every promise kept becomes evidence of integrity. The goal is not creating a perfect mind that never experiences doubt. The goal is becoming a person whose actions remain steady regardless of temporary emotions. Your future is shaped far more by what you repeatedly do than by what you occasionally think. Thoughts come and go like passing weather, but deliberate actions build character that lasts. Each sunrise offers another opportunity to choose purpose over hesitation, responsibility over excuses, and steady progress over empty worry. Every meaningful action sends a quiet message to your mind that you are capable of moving forward. Over time, those messages become stronger than fear because they are supported by experience rather than imagination. Your confidence no longer depends on feeling fearless. It depends on knowing that whatever thoughts appear, you have trained yourself to respond with clear decisions, useful work, and consistent action that moves your life in the direction you have chosen. Chapter 4. Strengthen self-discipline through simple, consistent daily choices. There is a quiet force that separates people who merely dream from those who steadily build the lives they want. It is not extraordinary talent, perfect timing, or endless motivation. It is self-discipline. Unlike excitement, which comes and goes, self-discipline stays with you through ordinary mornings, difficult afternoons, and evenings when every excuse feels reasonable. It is the ability to choose what truly matters instead of what feels easiest in the moment. Many people imagine discipline as something harsh. They picture strict routines, endless sacrifice, and a life without enjoyment. In reality, genuine discipline creates freedom rather than taking it away. It gives you freedom from constant regret. It frees you from being controlled by temporary emotions. It allows you to make decisions based on your values instead of your impulses. A disciplined life is not smaller. It is stronger, calmer, and more intentional. The greatest misunderstanding about discipline is believing it begins with huge acts of determination. Most lasting discipline is built through small decisions that seem almost unimportant when viewed alone. Choosing to stand up when your alarm rings, instead of delaying the morning by another 10 minutes. Drinking water before reaching for sugary drinks. Completing one unfinished responsibility before turning toward entertainment. Speaking with patience during a stressful conversation instead of reacting immediately. These moments rarely receive applause, yet they quietly shape the person you become. Every choice teaches your mind something. When you repeatedly choose what is easy, your mind begins expecting comfort as the normal path. When you repeatedly choose what is beneficial, even if it requires effort, your mind gradually accepts responsibility as your new standard. Character is formed through repetition, not intention alone. Think about a skilled musician. Their performance on stage appears effortless because thousands of ordinary practice sessions happened long before anyone was watching. The same principle applies to every area of life. Strong character is built during unseen moments. It develops when no one notices whether you keep your promises, finish your work, or remain honest. The invisible decisions become the visible results. One of the simplest ways to strengthen discipline is removing unnecessary negotiations with yourself. Many people waste valuable energy debating whether they should complete important tasks. The conversation continues until motivation disappears entirely. Instead of asking whether you feel like doing something, remind yourself that the decision has already been made. If exercising is part of your daily commitment, there is nothing left to discuss. If reading every evening is one of your priorities, there is no need to reconsider it each night. Fewer internal debates create greater consistency. Morning routines deserve careful attention because they influence the direction of the entire day. The first hour often determines the quality of the hours that follow. If the morning begins with rushing, distractions, and confusion, the rest of the day usually reflects that pattern. A calm beginning creates stability. Wake up with enough time to prepare yourself instead of immediately reacting to outside demands. Spend a few quiet minutes reviewing your priorities. Stretch your body. Read something meaningful. Plan your most important work before checking messages. These simple practices help you lead your day instead of chasing it. Discipline also becomes easier when your goals are specific. Vague intentions rarely produce steady action. Saying you want to become healthier provides little direction. Deciding to walk 30 minutes every weekday after dinner creates a clear commitment. Saying you want to save more money feels uncertain. Deciding to set aside a fixed amount every Friday creates a habit that can actually be followed. Clear actions remove confusion and make progress measurable. Another powerful lesson is learning to finish what you begin. Many people enjoy starting new projects because beginnings feel exciting. Finishing requires persistence after the excitement fades. Whether it is reading a book, completing a course, organizing your workspace, or learning a skill, develop the habit of bringing meaningful tasks to completion. Each finished commitment strengthens trust in your own reliability. Discipline grows stronger when distractions lose their influence. Modern life constantly offers opportunities to delay important work. A quick video becomes 30 minutes. One unnecessary notification interrupts deep concentration. An unplanned conversation steals valuable time. Protect your attention by creating periods where your focus belongs entirely to one responsibility. Turn off unnecessary alerts. Keep only the materials you need within reach. Allow yourself the satisfaction of completing meaningful work without constant interruption. Many people believe they need greater willpower, but their environment quietly works against them. Make good decisions easier by preparing in advance. Place your notebook where you will see it each morning. Prepare healthy meals before busy days. Keep your workspace clean. Remove unnecessary temptations from areas where you spend the most time. Small changes to your surroundings reduce the number of difficult decisions you must make throughout the day. Discipline also requires learning the difference between comfort and recovery. Rest is necessary. Recovery allows your mind and body to regain strength. Comfort becomes harmful when it repeatedly replaces responsibility. Watching a movie after completing your important work is healthy relaxation. Watching television while important responsibilities continue to pile up creates unnecessary stress. The difference lies in whether comfort follows effort or replaces it. There will be days when enthusiasm disappears completely. Those days reveal the true strength of your habits. If your actions depend entirely on inspiration, progress will always remain unpredictable. Discipline allows you to continue moving even when excitement is absent. It reminds you that your future should not depend on your changing emotions. An effective practice is giving every day one meaningful victory. It does not need to be dramatic. It could be finishing an important report, preparing a healthy meal, reading 20 pages, organizing part of your home, or having a conversation you have been postponing. Ending the day knowing that one important commitment was honored creates momentum. These victories accumulate until they reshape your confidence. Pay attention to how you speak about discipline. Avoid describing responsible actions as punishment. Exercise is not punishment. Budgeting is not punishment. Learning new skills is not punishment. These activities are investments in your future. The language you use influences the attitude you bring to your daily responsibilities. Patience becomes an essential companion to discipline. Many worthwhile results require months or years of steady effort. Physical fitness develops gradually. Financial security grows through repeated wise decisions. Strong relationships are built through daily respect and honest communication. Professional excellence comes from continuous learning and reliable performance. When you understand that meaningful progress takes time, you become less tempted by shortcuts that promise immediate rewards. Another valuable habit is preparing for moments of weakness before they arrive. Everyone experiences days of low energy, disappointment, or frustration. Decide in advance how you will respond. If you feel like skipping your workout, commit to doing at least 10 minutes. If you feel overwhelmed by a large project, complete the first small section instead of abandoning the task entirely. Having simple backup plans keeps difficult days from becoming wasted days. Self-discipline also grows through keeping your word, especially when no one else knows the promise exists. If you decide to wake up at a certain time, honor that decision. If you commit to studying every evening, protect that appointment with yourself. Integrity begins in private. Public achievements often reflect private consistency that remained invisible for a long time. Avoid measuring success only through dramatic outcomes. Sometimes the greatest progress happens beneath the surface. You become more patient during difficult conversations. You recover more quickly after setbacks. You waste less time arguing with yourself. You become more dependable. These internal improvements create lasting success because they strengthen the person producing the results. It is equally important to recognize that discipline should support balance rather than perfection. Life will include unexpected responsibilities, illness, travel, and changing circumstances. Missing one planned action does not erase months of steady effort. Adapt when necessary, then return to your routine without unnecessary guilt. Flexibility strengthens consistency because it allows progress to continue even when conditions change. Surround yourself with reminders of the person you are becoming. Keep your goals visible. Read books that encourage responsibility. Spend time with people whose actions inspire respect. Every influence either strengthens your standards or quietly lowers them. Choose environments that support the future you are working to create. Reflect regularly on the benefits your discipline is already producing. Perhaps you feel calmer because your days are more organized. Maybe your finances are improving because unnecessary spending has decreased. Perhaps your relationships feel stronger because you consistently keep your commitments. Recognizing these rewards reinforces the value of staying disciplined. There is also wisdom in simplifying your life. Too many commitments create unnecessary pressure. Too many possessions require unnecessary attention. Too many goals divide your focus. Choose fewer priorities and pursue them with greater consistency. A clear direction allows discipline to work more effectively because your energy is no longer scattered across countless unfinished ambitions. Remember that every disciplined choice is shaping more than your schedule. It is shaping your identity. Each time you choose responsibility over convenience, you strengthen the belief that you are someone who can be trusted. Each completed commitment becomes evidence of your reliability. Over time, discipline stops feeling like something you force yourself to do. It becomes part of who you are. Life will always present opportunities to delay, avoid, or settle for less than your potential. There will always be reasons to wait until tomorrow, to make exceptions, or to lower your standards. Yet, every ordinary day offers another chance to choose differently. Each small decision carries quiet significance because it contributes to the larger story of your life. The strongest version of yourself will not appear through one remarkable breakthrough. That person will emerge through countless ordinary moments handled with care, honesty, and determination. Every time you honor your priorities, finish your responsibilities, and remain faithful to your values, you strengthen the foundation beneath your future. Self-discipline is not built in dramatic moments of inspiration. It is built through simple, consistent daily choices that gradually transform the way you think, the way you act, and ultimately, the way you live. Chapter 5. Eliminate distractions and focus completely on meaningful priorities. Every person receives the same 24 hours each day, yet the difference between an ordinary life and an extraordinary one is often determined by where those hours are invested. Time itself is equal, but attention is not. Your attention is one of the most valuable resources you possess because whatever receives your attention gradually shapes your future. Every goal you achieve, every skill you develop, every relationship you strengthen, and every dream you bring to life begins with your ability to direct your focus toward what truly matters. Distractions have always existed, but modern life has made them easier to access than ever before. Every moment presents another opportunity to interrupt yourself. A notification appears while you are working. A short video promises a quick break. One message leads to another conversation. A few minutes become an hour before you even notice what happened. The greatest danger is not that these interruptions are powerful by themselves. The danger is that they quietly become normal. Days filled with constant distractions begin to feel productive simply because they are busy, even though very little meaningful progress has been made. Being busy is not the same as moving forward. Many people end each day feeling exhausted while wondering why their important goals remain unchanged. Their schedules were full, yet their priorities received very little attention. Activity without direction creates motion, but rarely creates progress. A wise person learns to separate what is urgent from what is important. Urgent tasks demand immediate attention. Important tasks shape your future. Answering every message the moment it arrives may feel urgent. Building your knowledge, improving your health, strengthening your skills, planning your finances, and spending meaningful time with the people you love are important. If urgent demands always replace important responsibilities, years can pass without meaningful growth. One of the most valuable habits you can develop is deciding your priorities before the world begins making decisions for you. At the beginning of each day, identify the few responsibilities that deserve your best energy. Avoid creating an endless list that becomes impossible to complete. Instead, focus on the work that will genuinely improve your future. When those priorities are clear, smaller distractions become easier to recognize because they no longer appear equally important. The quality of your focus often depends on the quality of your decisions before work even begins. Imagine sitting down to complete an important project while your phone remains beside you, your television plays quietly in the background, and multiple browser tabs compete for your attention. Every interruption forces your mind to shift from one task to another. Although each distraction may last only seconds, your concentration takes much longer to recover. Deep thinking requires uninterrupted time. Create an environment where focus becomes the easiest choice. Place your phone out of reach during important work. Close applications you do not need. Clear unnecessary items from your desk. Keep only the materials related to your current responsibility within sight. A simple workspace often creates a calmer mind because fewer objects compete for your attention. Many people underestimate the cost of constant switching between tasks. Multitasking often feels efficient because several activities happen at once. In reality, the mind performs best when it gives full attention to one meaningful responsibility. Reading while checking messages reduces understanding. Writing while watching videos lowers creativity. Listening during conversations while thinking about something else weakens relationships. Giving complete attention produces higher quality results in less time. Your energy changes throughout the day, and your schedule should respect that reality. Notice when your mind feels most alert. For some people, it is early morning. Others think more clearly later in the day. Reserve those hours for your most valuable work. Routine responsibilities can wait until your energy naturally decreases. Protecting your strongest hours for your highest priorities dramatically improves the quality of your work. One simple practice can strengthen your ability to concentrate. Set a specific amount of time for focused work. During that period, commit yourself completely to one task. Do not check messages. Do not browse unrelated information. Do not begin something else simply because it feels easier. When the time ends, take a short break before beginning another period of focused effort. This rhythm trains your mind to remain engaged for longer periods without becoming mentally exhausted. Another source of distraction comes from unfinished responsibilities. Every incomplete task quietly occupies mental space. Bills waiting to be paid, conversations waiting to happen, projects left halfway finished, and promises delayed all compete for attention. Reducing these unfinished commitments creates mental clarity. Begin by completing small unfinished tasks that have been lingering for weeks. Each completed responsibility removes unnecessary pressure and allows your attention to return to more meaningful goals. Learning to say no is another essential skill. Every time you accept a commitment, you are also deciding what you cannot do during that same period. Saying yes to every request often means saying no to your own priorities without realizing it. Respectfully declining responsibilities that do not align with your values protects your time for the work that truly matters. This does not require becoming selfish. It requires becoming intentional. Pay close attention to the information you consume. Your mind continues thinking about what it repeatedly receives. Endless news, unnecessary arguments, constant comparison, and meaningless entertainment can occupy valuable mental space long after you stop watching them. Choose information that teaches useful skills, encourages thoughtful reflection, or supports your long-term goals. Your mind deserves the same careful selection that you would give to your physical health. Distractions are not always external. Some of the strongest interruptions come from within. Worry about the future, regret about the past, imaginary conversations, and endless overthinking can prevent meaningful action just as effectively as any notification. When these thoughts appear, gently return your attention to the task directly in front of you. Most problems become easier to manage when addressed one practical step at a time, rather than through endless mental repetition. Perfectionism is another hidden distraction. Waiting for perfect conditions often becomes an excuse for avoiding meaningful work. You may tell yourself that you will begin when you have more time, better equipment, greater confidence, or ideal circumstances. Those conditions rarely arrive exactly as imagined. Progress belongs to people who begin with what they have and improve through experience. Starting imperfectly usually creates better results than waiting endlessly for perfection. Your physical surroundings quietly influence your attention throughout the day. A room filled with unnecessary clutter constantly asks your brain to process more information. A clean and organized space allows your mind to settle more easily on the work before you. Spend a few minutes each day restoring order to the places where you think, work, and rest. This small habit often creates surprising improvements in concentration. Meaningful priorities should also reflect your deepest values rather than temporary trends. It is easy to become distracted by goals that impress other people but bring little personal fulfillment. Ask yourself whether your daily efforts are building the life you genuinely want or simply following expectations created by someone else. A meaningful priority brings lasting satisfaction because it reflects what truly matters to you. Relationships deserve focused attention as well. One of the greatest gifts you can offer another person is your complete presence. During conversations, put away unnecessary devices. Listen without planning your response while the other person is speaking. Notice their expressions, their emotions, and the meaning behind their words. Deep relationships are strengthened through moments of undivided attention rather than constant partial engagement. Rest should also receive intentional focus. Many people confuse rest with distraction. Mindlessly scrolling for hours rarely leaves the mind refreshed. Genuine rest restores energy. A peaceful walk, reading an inspiring book, enjoying meaningful conversation, spending time in nature, or simply sitting quietly allows the mind to recover without becoming overstimulated. Purposeful rest prepares you for purposeful work. Review your priorities regularly because life changes over time. What deserved your attention last year may no longer be your greatest responsibility today. Every few weeks, ask yourself whether your daily schedule reflects your current goals. If your calendar consistently tells a different story than your values, adjustments are necessary. Your schedule reveals your priorities more honestly than your intentions. Another valuable practice is ending each day with preparation rather than uncertainty. Before going to bed, decide the first important task you will complete the next morning. Prepare anything you will need in advance. Organize your workspace. Write down your key objective. Beginning the day with clarity reduces the temptation to drift toward easy distractions before meaningful work begins. Patience becomes increasingly important as you strengthen your focus. Deep achievements often require long periods of concentrated effort before noticeable results appear. Learning a profession, building a business, writing a book, mastering a skill, or improving your health all demand sustained attention over months and years. Constantly changing direction prevents steady progress, because each new beginning requires starting over. Celebrate the quiet victories that often go unnoticed, completing an important task without checking your phone, finishing your planned work before seeking entertainment, giving someone your full attention during a conversation, reading instead of scrolling, choosing thoughtful action instead of constant reaction. These moments may seem small, but they strengthen your ability to direct your life rather than allowing circumstances to direct it for you. Your attention is shaping your future every single day. Whatever consistently receives your focus gradually becomes part of your character. If your attention belongs to distractions, your progress will remain scattered. If your attention belongs to meaningful priorities, your life will steadily reflect those choices. There will always be more opportunities, more invitations, more opinions, and more demands competing for your time than you could ever accept. You cannot give your best energy to everything. Every meaningful accomplishment requires choosing a few important directions and pursuing them with patience, consistency, and determination. The people who achieve lasting success are not those who have fewer distractions. They are the ones who repeatedly choose their priorities over temporary impulses. They understand that every focused hour is an investment in the future they are creating. Each deliberate decision to protect their attention strengthens their ability to think clearly, work deeply, and live intentionally. When you learn to eliminate distractions, you gain far more than increased productivity. You gain peace because your mind no longer feels pulled in countless directions. You gain confidence because meaningful work is being completed. You gain purpose because your actions finally reflect your values. Most importantly, you begin living each day with the quiet satisfaction that comes from knowing your time is being invested in what truly deserves it. Every focused decision becomes another step toward a life built not by accident, but by careful attention to what matters most. Chapter 6. Build emotional resilience by responding calmly during every challenge. Life does not test your character only during moments of success. It reveals your character during moments when things refuse to go according to plan. A delayed opportunity, an unexpected setback, a difficult conversation, a financial challenge, or a personal disappointment can change the direction of an entire day. While you cannot control when these moments appear, you can learn to control how you respond to them. This ability is called emotional resilience, and it is one of the most valuable strengths a person can develop. Emotional resilience is not the absence of emotion. It does not mean becoming cold, distant, or unaffected by difficulty. It means remaining steady enough to think clearly when emotions become intense. It allows you to experience disappointment without becoming hopeless, frustration without becoming destructive, and uncertainty without losing direction. It is the quiet strength that keeps you moving when circumstances become difficult. Many people believe resilience is something people are simply born with. They assume certain individuals naturally remain calm, while others cannot. The truth is much more encouraging. Emotional resilience is built through repeated practice. Every challenge offers an opportunity to strengthen it. Just as muscles become stronger through consistent training, emotional stability grows every time you choose a thoughtful response instead of an impulsive reaction. One of the first lessons in building resilience is accepting that discomfort is part of life. Many unnecessary struggles begin because people expect life to remain comfortable. When problems appear, they immediately conclude that something has gone terribly wrong. In reality, difficulty is not always a sign that you are moving in the wrong direction. Often, it is simply evidence that you are living a real life filled with responsibilities, relationships, goals, and unexpected events. Imagine a traveler walking along a mountain path. The climb becomes steeper, the air becomes colder, and every step requires more effort than before. The traveler does not assume the path is broken simply because the climb has become difficult. They understand that greater effort is naturally required to reach higher ground. Personal growth follows the same pattern. New levels of responsibility often bring new levels of challenge. The moment something difficult happens, your first reaction may not always be your wisest one. Strong emotions naturally appear before careful thinking has time to develop. Anger may encourage immediate words that later create regret. Fear may encourage avoidance instead of action. Disappointment may whisper that giving up would be easier than continuing. These initial emotional signals deserve recognition, but they should not automatically become your guide. One of the simplest and most effective habits during stressful moments is creating a brief pause before responding. Even a few quiet seconds can prevent unnecessary mistakes. During that pause, notice what you are feeling without rushing to express it. Ask yourself whether your next action will improve the situation or simply release temporary emotion. This small space between feeling and action often determines whether a challenge becomes a lesson or a lasting problem. Breathing slowly during stressful moments may appear too simple to matter, yet it has remarkable value. Rapid breathing often accompanies panic, anger, and anxiety. Slowing your breathing sends a message to your body that immediate danger has passed. Your thinking becomes clearer because your body begins leaving its emergency state. A calm mind makes wiser decisions than a rushed one. Perspective is another powerful source of resilience. During difficult moments, problems often appear larger than they truly are because emotions narrow your attention. Ask yourself whether this challenge will still matter 1 year from now. Some situations will, but many will not. This question does not minimize genuine difficulties. Instead, it reminds you to see the problem within the larger picture of your life. There is also value in separating events from interpretation. Imagine receiving criticism at work. The event itself is simple. Someone offered criticism. Your interpretation determines much of your emotional response. You may immediately conclude that you are incapable, unappreciated, or destined to fail. Another person may see the same feedback as useful information for improvement. The external event remained identical. The meaning attached to it created completely different emotional experiences. Resilient people become skilled at asking better questions. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" they ask, "What can this situation teach me?" Instead of asking, "Why am I so unlucky?" they ask, "What is still within my control?" Questions shape attention. Helpful questions direct the mind toward solutions rather than helplessness. Another important practice is refusing to make permanent conclusions during temporary emotional states. When people feel discouraged, they often believe those emotions accurately predict the future. They assume today's disappointment will continue forever. Yet emotions naturally change. Decisions made during moments of intense frustration often create unnecessary regret once calm returns. Give yourself time before making major choices during emotionally difficult periods. Healthy emotional resilience also depends on accepting that not every situation can be fixed immediately. Some problems require patience rather than urgency. Healing after loss, rebuilding trust, recovering from failure, or learning new skills all take time. Trying to force instant resolution often creates additional frustration. Sometimes the wisest action is continuing steady progress while allowing time to do its quiet work. Learning to accept constructive criticism strengthens resilience in remarkable ways. Many people react defensively because they confuse feedback with personal rejection. Honest feedback is not an attack on your worth. It is information that can strengthen your abilities if received with humility. Listen carefully before defending yourself. Ask questions instead of making assumptions. Even criticism delivered imperfectly may contain useful lessons. Your daily habits influence your emotional strength more than you may realize. A rested mind responds differently than an exhausted one. Regular sleep improves patience, judgment, and emotional balance. Nourishing food supports steady energy throughout the day. Physical movement reduces accumulated stress and creates mental clarity. These habits do not eliminate life's challenges, but they increase your ability to meet those challenges with wisdom. The people surrounding you also influence your emotional resilience. Spend time with individuals who encourage honesty, responsibility, and thoughtful problem-solving. Avoid environments where constant complaining, blame, and unnecessary conflict become normal. Emotions often spread through repeated interaction. Choose relationships that strengthen your character rather than weaken your peace. Another valuable habit is learning to distinguish between facts and assumptions. Imagine receiving a short message from someone you respect. They seem less friendly than usual. The facts are limited. The message was brief. The assumptions quickly multiply. You may imagine anger, disappointment, or rejection without any evidence. These imagined conclusions often create unnecessary emotional pain. Before reacting, seek clarity instead of allowing assumptions to shape your response. Forgiveness plays an essential role in emotional resilience. Carrying resentment for years places a heavy burden on your own heart. Forgiveness does not require approving harmful behavior or pretending that painful experiences never happened. It means refusing to let past injuries continue controlling your present peace. Releasing bitterness creates space for healing, wisdom, and renewed strength. There will also be moments when you disappoint yourself. Perhaps you fail to meet an important goal, react poorly during a difficult conversation, or make a decision you later regret. These experiences deserve honest reflection rather than endless self-condemnation. Learn the lesson clearly, make the necessary correction, and continue moving forward. Dwelling on past mistakes long after they have taught their lesson prevents future growth. One powerful way to strengthen resilience is deliberately practicing patience during small daily frustrations. Long lines, unexpected delays, traffic, technical problems, and minor inconveniences provide regular opportunities to train your emotional responses. Instead of becoming irritated immediately, treat these moments as practice sessions. Every calm response strengthens your ability to remain steady during larger challenges. Gratitude also contributes to emotional balance. Difficult seasons often narrow attention toward what is missing. Taking time each day to recognize what remains good creates a more balanced perspective. Gratitude does not ignore pain. It simply refuses to allow pain to become the entire story. A supportive friend, good health, meaningful work, personal progress, or even a quiet moment of rest can remind you that life contains reasons for hope alongside its challenges. Another important principle is avoiding the habit of personalizing every difficulty. Not every setback is a judgment about your worth. Businesses experience losses. Relationships encounter misunderstandings. Plans change unexpectedly. Weather interrupts schedules. Many events occur simply because life is unpredictable. Viewing every obstacle as a personal failure creates unnecessary emotional weight. Develop the habit of returning to your values whenever emotions become confusing. Ask yourself what kind of person you want to be in this situation. Do you want to be honest, patient, respectful, courageous, or fair? Allow your values to guide your actions instead of allowing temporary feelings to make those decisions for you. Values provide stability when emotions become uncertain. Remember that resilience is often built quietly. It grows every time you recover after disappointment instead of remaining discouraged. It grows when you remain respectful during disagreement. It grows when you continue fulfilling your responsibilities despite temporary frustration. These victories may never receive public recognition, but they gradually transform your inner strength. There is wisdom in recognizing that every challenge eventually becomes part of your personal education. Some lessons arrive through success, others arrive through difficulty. The difficult lessons are often remembered more clearly because they reshape the way you think, prepare, and respond. Every obstacle contains an opportunity to become more patient, more thoughtful, and more resilient than before. Emotional resilience also means knowing when to seek support. Strength is not measured by pretending you never struggle. Speaking with a trusted friend, mentor, family member, or qualified professional during difficult seasons demonstrates wisdom, not weakness. Honest conversation often brings clarity that isolated thinking cannot provide. As the years pass, your greatest advantage will not simply be knowledge or experience. It will be your ability to remain calm while others panic, to remain thoughtful while others react impulsively, and to remain hopeful while others surrender to discouragement. Calmness creates space for better decisions. Better decisions create stronger outcomes. Stronger outcomes build a life marked by wisdom instead of regret. Every challenge you face becomes an opportunity to strengthen this quiet inner stability. You may not control the timing of life's difficulties, but you always have the opportunity to shape the quality of your response. Day by day, thoughtful response becomes natural. Patience replaces unnecessary urgency. Clear thinking replaces emotional confusion. Quiet confidence replaces fear of uncertainty. The strongest people are not those who never experience hardship. They are the ones who learn to meet hardship with steady hearts, disciplined minds, and purposeful actions. Emotional resilience allows you to stand firmly even when circumstances shift beneath your feet. It reminds you that while the world around you will continue changing, the strength within you can continue growing. Every calm decision, every patient response, and every wise action becomes another piece of a character that remains steady regardless of what tomorrow brings. Chapter 7. Improve relationships through honest communication and genuine daily respect. No matter how intelligent, disciplined, or successful you become, the quality of your life will always be deeply connected to the quality of your relationships. Every meaningful achievement becomes more valuable when it can be shared with people who genuinely care about you. At the same time, even great success can feel empty when trust has been replaced by conflict, misunderstanding, or distance. Strong relationships are not built by chance. They are built through small, thoughtful actions repeated consistently over time. Many people believe healthy relationships depend mainly on finding the right people. While choosing good company certainly matters, lasting relationships depend just as much on becoming the kind of person others can trust, respect, and depend on. Every conversation, every promise, every reaction during disagreement, and every act of kindness quietly shapes the foundation of your connections with others. Honest communication is one of the strongest foundations any relationship can have. Honesty creates clarity. It removes unnecessary confusion and allows people to understand each other more deeply. However, honesty should never become an excuse for unnecessary harshness. Speaking the truth without kindness often creates distance instead of understanding. True honesty combines sincerity with respect. It seeks to solve problems rather than win arguments. Many misunderstandings begin because people assume instead of asking. A friend becomes unusually quiet, and you immediately believe they are upset with you. A family member forgets to return your call, and you conclude they no longer care. A coworker seems distracted during a conversation, and you interpret it as disrespect. These conclusions often grow without evidence. Instead of creating stories in your mind, seek understanding through calm conversation. Simple questions often prevent unnecessary conflict. Listening is another skill that deserves far more attention than it usually receives. Most people listen only long enough to prepare their next response. Their minds are already forming opinions before the other person has finished speaking. Genuine listening requires patience. It means giving someone your full attention without rushing to interrupt, correct, or judge them. When people feel truly heard, trust naturally begins to grow. There is a significant difference between hearing words and understanding feelings. Someone may say they are fine, while their expression reveals exhaustion. Another person may speak confidently while quietly carrying fear or uncertainty. Paying attention to tone of voice, body language, and emotional changes allows you to understand people beyond their spoken words. This deeper awareness strengthens compassion because you begin responding not only to what people say, but also to what they may be struggling to express. Respect should never depend on whether someone agrees with you. It becomes most valuable during moments of disagreement. Different opinions are part of every meaningful relationship. Two thoughtful people will not always see situations in exactly the same way. Respect allows differences to exist without destroying connection. Instead of trying to prove that someone else is completely wrong, seek to understand why they see the situation differently. Understanding does not always require agreement, but it almost always reduces unnecessary conflict. One of the greatest gifts you can offer another person is consistency. People feel safe around individuals whose words and actions match. If you make a promise, keep it. If circumstances change and you cannot fulfill a commitment, communicate honestly rather than disappearing. Reliability creates trust because others learn they can depend on your character rather than your changing moods. Small daily actions often strengthen relationships more effectively than occasional grand gestures. A sincere thank you, remembering an important date, asking how someone is feeling, offering encouragement during a difficult season, or expressing appreciation for ordinary efforts all communicate value. People rarely forget how consistently you made them feel respected and appreciated. Gratitude should become part of your everyday conversations. Too often, people assume others already know they are appreciated. Unspoken gratitude leaves relationships weaker than they could be. Express appreciation while you have the opportunity. Thank your parents for their sacrifices, your partner for their support, your friends for their loyalty, your co-workers for their teamwork, and anyone who has made your life better through their presence. Simple words spoken sincerely carry lasting influence. Another important habit is avoiding unnecessary criticism. Constantly pointing out flaws creates defensiveness rather than growth. This does not mean ignoring real problems. It means choosing the right time, the right words, and the right attitude when discussing them. Begin by recognizing what someone is doing well before addressing areas that need improvement. People are generally more willing to accept guidance when they feel respected rather than attacked. Pride quietly damages many relationships. It convinces people that admitting mistakes will make them appear weak. In reality, taking responsibility often strengthens respect. A sincere apology demonstrates maturity because it places truth above personal pride. Saying, "I was wrong, I misunderstood," or "I should have handled that better," does not reduce your dignity. It reveals confidence strong enough to value honesty over appearance. Forgiveness also deserves an important place in every lasting relationship. No person will meet your expectations perfectly every day. Friends disappoint each other. Family members make mistakes. Co-workers misunderstand situations. Holding every mistake forever creates emotional distance that grows heavier over time. Forgiveness does not erase accountability, nor does it encourage harmful behavior. It simply prevents resentment from becoming the permanent foundation of the relationship. Healthy boundaries are another form of respect. Many people mistakenly believe kindness requires saying yes to every request. Constantly ignoring your own responsibilities eventually creates frustration and exhaustion. Respecting others includes being honest about your own limits. Saying no politely when necessary protects your ability to remain generous without becoming overwhelmed. Comparison quietly weakens relationships as well. When you constantly measure people against others, appreciation begins to disappear. Every individual brings different strengths, experiences, and perspectives. Accepting people for who they genuinely are creates healthier connections than expecting everyone to become someone else. Appreciation grows when expectations become realistic rather than impossible. Trust develops slowly, but can be damaged quickly. Every dishonest statement, broken promise, or hidden truth weakens confidence. Rebuilding trust requires consistent actions over time rather than impressive words spoken once. If trust has been damaged, focus on becoming reliable day after day. Consistency restores confidence more effectively than repeated explanations. Technology has created many opportunities to communicate, yet genuine connection sometimes becomes weaker because attention is divided. During conversations, place your phone aside. Maintain eye contact. Notice expressions and emotions. Give people the feeling that they matter more than the screen beside you. Complete presence is becoming increasingly rare, which makes it increasingly valuable. Learning to manage your emotions during conversations greatly improves relationships. Strong feelings often encourage quick reactions that create lasting damage. Before responding during difficult discussions, ask yourself whether your words will solve the problem or simply release frustration. Calm communication protects dignity while increasing the chance of mutual understanding. Curiosity is another powerful relationship skill. Instead of assuming you already know everything about the people closest to you, continue learning about them. Ask thoughtful questions about their dreams, concerns, experiences, and goals. People continue growing throughout life. Staying curious allows relationships to grow alongside them instead of becoming stagnant. Generosity extends beyond money or gifts. Sharing your time, encouragement, patience, attention, and knowledge often creates a greater impact than material possessions. Sometimes the most valuable gift you can offer is simply being fully available when someone needs support. Presence often comforts people more deeply than perfect advice. Every relationship experiences seasons of change. Friendships evolve, families face new responsibilities, careers create different schedules. Distance may separate people physically. Strong relationships adapt by remaining intentional. Waiting for connection to happen naturally often leads to gradual separation. Reach out first, plan meaningful conversations, continue investing even when life becomes busy. Respecting differences also strengthens relationships. People may solve problems differently, communicate differently, or express emotions differently. Diversity of thought often produces stronger decisions because it brings new perspectives into the conversation. Instead of viewing differences as obstacles, learn to see them as opportunities to broaden your understanding. Avoid gossip whenever possible. Speaking negatively about people who are not present weakens trust, because listeners naturally wonder what you might say about them later. Conversations built on respect strengthen your reputation as someone whose words can be trusted. Celebrate the success of others without allowing jealousy to take control. Someone else's achievement does not reduce your own potential. Offering sincere congratulations strengthens relationships because it demonstrates confidence rather than insecurity. Joy shared with others often returns in unexpected ways. Patience becomes especially important with the people you care about most. Everyone carries unseen burdens. Someone who appears distant may be struggling privately. Someone who reacts emotionally may be facing pressures you do not fully understand. Responding with patience creates space for understanding before judgment. Another valuable practice is addressing small problems before they become larger ones. Minor misunderstandings left unresolved often grow into unnecessary resentment. Calm conversations held early usually require much less effort than repairing damage after months of silence. Courageous communication prevents many relationships from slowly drifting apart. Your example influences others more than your instructions. Demonstrating honesty, respect, kindness, reliability, and humility encourages similar behavior in those around you. People often remember consistent actions long after they forget spoken advice. There will be moments when relationships end despite your best efforts. Not every connection can be preserved. Some people choose different paths. Others may repeatedly violate trust or refuse mutual respect. Accepting these realities with grace protects your peace without filling your heart with bitterness. Continue treating others with dignity while recognizing that healthy relationships require effort from both sides. At the end of life, very few people wish they had spent more time proving themselves right in arguments or accumulating unnecessary possessions. Many wish they had listened more carefully, forgiven more quickly, expressed appreciation more often, and spent more meaningful time with the people they loved. Relationships become one of the clearest reflections of the values you practice every day. Every conversation offers an opportunity to strengthen trust. Every act of patience deepens understanding. Every promise kept quietly reinforces confidence. Every sincere apology repairs what pride might have destroyed. Every expression of gratitude reminds someone that their presence matters. The strongest relationships are rarely built through extraordinary moments alone. They are created through ordinary days filled with honesty, respect, consistency, kindness, and thoughtful communication. When these qualities become part of your daily character, you do more than improve your relationships. You become the kind of person whose presence brings stability, encouragement, and genuine value to the lives of everyone fortunate enough to know you. Chapter 8. Create better decisions by thinking clearly before every action. Every life is shaped by decisions. Some are large enough to change the direction of many years, while others appear so small that they are almost invisible. Yet small decisions, repeated over time, often carry greater influence than one dramatic choice. The person you become is not determined by a single moment, but by the countless decisions you make when nobody is watching. Every habit begins with one decision. Every relationship grows stronger or weaker because of repeated decisions. Every opportunity is either embraced or ignored through decisions made one day at a time. Many people spend more time planning vacations than planning the choices that shape their future. They react to circumstances instead of thinking carefully before acting. When emotions become intense, decisions become rushed. When pressure increases, judgment often becomes clouded. The result is unnecessary regret, not because life was unfair, but because temporary feelings were allowed to control permanent consequences. Clear thinking is one of the greatest advantages any person can develop. It creates stability during uncertainty, confidence during confusion, and wisdom during moments when quick reactions seem tempting. A calm mind notices details that an emotional mind often overlooks. Instead of rushing toward the first available solution, it pauses long enough to understand the situation completely. Every decision begins long before the action itself. It begins with the quality of your thinking. If your thoughts are scattered, your choices often become inconsistent. If your thoughts are careful and disciplined, your actions gradually reflect the same qualities. This is why strengthening your thinking is one of the greatest investments you can make. Better thinking rarely produces immediate excitement, but over time, it quietly transforms every area of life. One of the most common reasons people make poor decisions is because they confuse urgency with importance. Something feels urgent simply because it demands attention. A ringing phone, an unexpected message, or pressure from someone else may create the feeling that immediate action is required. Yet many situations improve when you pause instead of reacting instantly. Giving yourself time to think often prevents mistakes that would require far more time to correct later. Develop the habit of slowing down before making meaningful choices. This does not mean becoming hesitant or fearful. It means creating enough space between the situation and your response to allow wisdom to participate. Ask yourself simple questions. What are the possible consequences? What information am I missing? Will this decision still seem wise tomorrow? These questions often reveal details that impulsive reactions ignore. Emotions provide valuable information, but they should not become the only guide for important decisions. Excitement may encourage unnecessary risks. Fear may discourage worthwhile opportunities. Anger may create words that damage relationships. Pride may prevent honest learning. Emotions deserve attention because they reveal how you feel, but feelings alone cannot determine what is right. Wisdom requires balancing emotion with careful thought. Imagine receiving an unexpected opportunity that appears exciting. Many people immediately accept because they fear missing out. Others reject it because uncertainty feels uncomfortable. A thoughtful person examines the situation carefully. They ask whether the opportunity aligns with their values, responsibilities, and long-term direction. They gather information before committing. This patient approach often leads to stronger outcomes because decisions are based on understanding rather than excitement. Clarity also comes from separating facts from opinions. In everyday life, people often react to assumptions instead of reality. A rumor becomes accepted as truth. A first impression becomes a permanent judgment. A temporary setback becomes proof that success is impossible. Strong decision-makers discipline themselves to verify information before reaching conclusions. They recognize that assumptions create confusion, while facts create confidence. Your environment quietly influences the quality of your decisions. Constant noise, endless interruptions, and mental clutter make thoughtful thinking more difficult. Give yourself opportunities for quiet reflection. A peaceful walk, a few minutes of writing, or simply sitting without unnecessary distractions allows your thoughts to settle. Many of the best decisions are made not during moments of chaos, but during moments of calm. Learning from previous experiences also improves future choices. Every mistake contains useful information if examined honestly. Instead of asking only what went wrong, ask why it happened. Was the decision rushed? Did emotions replace careful thinking? Was important information ignored? Honest reflection transforms failure into practical education. People who refuse to learn from experience often repeat the same mistakes under different circumstances. Another valuable practice is considering long-term consequences before pursuing short-term rewards. Many poor decisions promise immediate comfort while creating future difficulty. Overspending may feel satisfying today, but creates financial stress later. Ignoring your health may seem easier now, but produces greater challenges in the future. Avoiding difficult conversations may create temporary peace while allowing misunderstandings to grow. Wise decisions often require small sacrifices today to create greater benefits tomorrow. Your values should become the foundation beneath every important choice. Circumstances change, opinions shift, and opportunities come and go, but values provide stability. Before making significant decisions, ask whether the choice reflects the kind of person you want to become. A decision that violates your principles may offer temporary gain, but often creates lasting regret. Living according to your values strengthens both character and self-respect. Many people struggle because they seek certainty before acting. Complete certainty rarely exists. Every meaningful decision includes some degree of uncertainty. Waiting until every possible risk disappears often leads to endless delay. The goal is not eliminating uncertainty. The goal is making thoughtful decisions based on the best information available while accepting that not every outcome can be controlled. One helpful habit is writing important decisions on paper before making them. Seeing your thoughts written clearly often reveals weaknesses in your reasoning that remain hidden when ideas stay inside your mind. List the advantages, possible risks, available alternatives, and likely outcomes. This simple exercise slows your thinking enough to increase clarity. Seek advice wisely, but do not surrender responsibility for your choices. Listening to experienced people broadens your perspective. Others may notice possibilities or risks that you overlooked. However, remember that no one else will live with the consequences of your decisions more than you will. Advice should inform your thinking, not replace it. Gather wisdom from others while remaining personally responsible for the final choice. Pay attention to recurring patterns in your decisions. Do you frequently act too quickly? Do you hesitate even when opportunities are good? Do you allow fear to influence your choices? Do you seek approval before trusting your own judgment? Recognizing these tendencies allows you to correct them before they repeatedly shape your future. Clear thinking also requires intellectual humility. Accept that you do not know everything. Confidence becomes dangerous when it refuses correction. A wise person remains open to learning because they understand that better information can lead to better decisions. Changing your mind after discovering new evidence is not weakness. It demonstrates maturity and honesty. Daily reflection strengthens decision-making because it creates awareness. Spend a few minutes each evening reviewing the choices you made throughout the day. Which decisions moved you closer to your goals? Which choices created unnecessary difficulties? Which situations deserve a different response next time? Small daily reviews gradually improve judgment because they transform experience into wisdom. Avoid making important decisions while exhausted whenever possible. Fatigue reduces patience, weakens concentration, and increases emotional reactions. A well-rested mind notices details that an exhausted mind often misses. If a decision can reasonably wait until you have recovered physically and mentally, giving yourself that opportunity often produces better results. Another useful principle is distinguishing between what you can influence and what you cannot. Some people waste tremendous energy trying to control outcomes beyond their reach, while neglecting the actions they actually control. Focus your decisions on effort, preparation, integrity, and responsibility. Accept that external results sometimes depend on factors outside your influence. This perspective reduces unnecessary frustration while strengthening purposeful action. Patience is an underrated strength in decision-making. Society often celebrates speed, yet many lasting successes are built through thoughtful preparation. Rushing may create the appearance of confidence, but wisdom understands that careful consideration is rarely wasted. Taking an extra day to evaluate a major decision often prevents months or years of unnecessary difficulty. There is also value in recognizing when no decision is itself a decision. Delaying necessary action indefinitely has consequences just as real as making the wrong choice. Opportunities pass, problems grow larger, and uncertainty increases when important decisions remain untouched. Thoughtful action requires balancing careful reflection with timely commitment. Confidence grows each time you make decisions consistent with your principles. Even when outcomes are imperfect, you develop trust in your ability to approach future challenges with wisdom rather than panic. Self-confidence built upon thoughtful judgment is far more stable than confidence built upon temporary success alone. Teach yourself to think beyond the present moment. Ask where your current choice will lead after 1 month, 1 year, or even 10 years. Many decisions reveal their true value only when viewed across time. The discipline to think ahead separates purposeful living from impulsive living. Your inner dialogue also influences the quality of your decisions. Constant self-doubt creates hesitation, while unrealistic overconfidence creates unnecessary risk. Replace extreme thinking with balanced reasoning. Acknowledge challenges without exaggerating them. Recognize strengths without ignoring weaknesses. Clear thinking grows from honesty rather than distorted self-perception. Some of the greatest opportunities in life require courage because they involve uncertainty. Starting a business, learning a new skill, changing careers, repairing a damaged relationship, or pursuing a meaningful dream often involves risk. Courage does not ignore uncertainty. It simply refuses to allow uncertainty to become permanent paralysis. Thoughtful courage combines preparation with action. As your judgment improves, you will notice an important change. Decisions become less stressful because they are guided by principles instead of pressure. You stop reacting to every situation emotionally and begin responding with intention. Challenges become easier to navigate because your thinking remains organized even when circumstances become complicated. Every decision you make becomes part of the story you are writing with your life. Some choices create new opportunities, others strengthen your character. Some teach valuable lessons through success, while others teach wisdom through mistakes honestly examined. What matters most is not achieving perfect judgment every time. What matters is continually improving the quality of your thinking. A thoughtful life is built one decision at a time. Each moment offers another opportunity to pause, observe carefully, consider the consequences, and choose the path that reflects your highest values. Clear thinking is not simply a mental skill, It is a daily practice that protects your future from unnecessary regret and guides you toward meaningful progress. As you strengthen this ability, your actions become more deliberate, your relationships become stronger, your confidence becomes steadier, and your life begins reflecting the quiet power of wise decisions made with patience, clarity, and purpose. Chapter 9. Develop lasting confidence through continuous learning and personal growth. Confidence is often misunderstood. Many people believe it is something that appears after achieving success, receiving praise, or reaching an important milestone. They imagine confident people as individuals who never question themselves, never feel uncertain, and never experience fear. Real confidence is much quieter than that. It is not built on perfection or constant success. It is built on growth. It develops when you become someone who is willing to learn, improve, adapt, and continue moving forward, regardless of the challenges that appear along the way. The strongest confidence does not come from believing you already know everything. It comes from trusting your ability to learn whatever you need to know. That difference changes everything. When confidence depends on always being right, every mistake becomes a threat. When confidence depends on your willingness to keep learning, mistakes become opportunities to become wiser. This kind of confidence cannot easily be taken away because it is based on your character rather than your current level of knowledge. Every person begins as a beginner. No expert entered the world already skilled. Every successful entrepreneur once knew nothing about running a business. Every respected teacher once struggled to understand new ideas. Every skilled artist once created imperfect work. Every confident speaker once felt nervous before standing in front of others. Growth is the common path that connects every achievement. Accepting this truth removes unnecessary pressure because you no longer expect yourself to become excellent immediately. Learning is not limited to classrooms, universities, or formal education. Every conversation, every challenge, every success, every disappointment, every book, every project, and every ordinary day contains lessons waiting to be noticed. A person committed to growth understands that life itself becomes a teacher when approached with curiosity and humility. One of the greatest barriers to confidence is believing that your current abilities define your future potential. This belief quietly convinces people to avoid difficult situations because they fear appearing inexperienced. They refuse new opportunities, avoid learning unfamiliar skills, and remain inside comfortable routines. While comfort may feel safe, it rarely produces lasting confidence. Confidence grows when you repeatedly prove to yourself that you can enter unfamiliar situations, learn patiently, and improve steadily. Imagine someone learning a new language. During the first few weeks, they make countless mistakes. They forget words, misunderstand conversations, and struggle to express simple ideas. If they judge themselves only by their current ability, they will probably quit. If they judge themselves by their progress, they continue practicing because each small improvement becomes evidence that learning is taking place. Months later, conversations that once felt impossible become natural. Confidence arrived not because the process was easy, but because persistence transformed uncertainty into skill. Comparison prevents many people from recognizing their own growth. Looking at someone with years of experience while ignoring your own starting point creates discouragement instead of motivation. Every person follows a different path. Some begin earlier, some receive different opportunities, some face obstacles that others never experience. Your journey deserves your full attention because your progress depends on your own actions rather than someone else's timeline. A valuable habit is measuring yourself against the person you were yesterday instead of against the people around you. Ask whether your knowledge has increased, whether your habits have improved, whether your patience has grown, or whether your decisions have become wiser. These comparisons create encouragement because they highlight genuine personal development rather than unnecessary competition. Curiosity is one of the greatest strengths a person can possess. Curious people ask questions instead of pretending they already understand everything. They explore unfamiliar ideas with openness rather than fear. They seek knowledge because they recognize that every new lesson expands their ability to contribute, solve problems, and make thoughtful decisions. Curiosity keeps the mind alive, regardless of age, because it constantly invites growth. Reading remains one of the most practical ways to strengthen both confidence and wisdom. Books allow you to learn from people whose experiences extend far beyond your own. A single chapter may save years of unnecessary mistakes by offering lessons already tested through someone else's journey. Reading regularly sharpens thinking because it introduces new perspectives, strengthens concentration, and encourages thoughtful reflection. Learning should always lead to application. Knowledge that never becomes action remains incomplete. Reading about communication means little if you never practice listening more carefully. Studying leadership creates little value if you never accept responsibility. Learning about health produces few results without consistent daily habits. Confidence grows when knowledge becomes experience through repeated action. Another important part of personal growth is welcoming constructive feedback. Many people avoid feedback because they fear criticism. They protect their comfort at the expense of improvement. Yet thoughtful feedback often reveals blind spots that are difficult to notice alone. Instead of asking whether criticism feels pleasant, ask whether it contains information that can help you improve. Even uncomfortable feedback can become valuable when received with humility. Patience plays an essential role in learning. Modern culture often encourages immediate results, but meaningful growth rarely follows that schedule. Mastering a profession, building financial stability, strengthening relationships, improving health, or developing wisdom all require sustained effort. Progress may feel slow from one day to the next, yet remarkable changes become visible when viewed across months and years. Develop the habit of asking better questions throughout your day. Instead of asking, "Can I do this?" ask, "What skills do I need to develop?" Instead of asking, "Why am I not good enough?" ask, "What can I practice today?" These questions shift your attention from limitation toward possibility. Better questions create better thinking, and better thinking creates better actions. Mistakes deserve appreciation when approached correctly. Every mistake identifies an area where improvement is possible. Without mistakes, growth would become much slower because weaknesses would remain hidden. The goal is not avoiding every error. The goal is avoiding the repetition of the same error after its lesson has become clear. One practical way to support continuous growth is creating a personal learning routine. Set aside time every day to study something meaningful. Read a chapter from a thoughtful book. Listen to an educational lecture. Practice a new skill. Reflect on experiences from the day. Even 20 or 30 minutes invested consistently creates impressive results over time because knowledge accumulates steadily. Personal growth extends far beyond professional success. Learn how to become a better listener. Study emotional intelligence. Improve your financial understanding. Develop healthier habits. Strengthen your communication skills. Learn how to manage conflict peacefully. Explore history, philosophy, science, or psychology. The broader your understanding becomes, the more confidently you can navigate life's many situations. Adaptability is another quality that strengthens lasting confidence. The world continues changing. Technology evolves. Industries transform. New challenges replace old ones. People who refuse to learn often become overwhelmed because they expect life to remain familiar forever. Those who embrace learning remain flexible because they trust their ability to adapt. Confidence built on adaptability remains strong even during uncertainty. Your daily environment influences your desire to grow. Surround yourself with people who enjoy learning, solving problems, and improving themselves. Conversations centered on ideas, growth, and possibility naturally encourage similar thinking within you. At the same time, be cautious about environments where negativity, complacency, and constant excuses become normal. Attitudes spread through repeated interaction. Another powerful practice is teaching what you learn. Explaining ideas to others deepens your own understanding because it requires clarity rather than memorization. Whether helping a coworker, encouraging a family member, or mentoring someone beginning their journey, sharing knowledge reinforces your own growth while contributing positively to another person's life. Celebrate progress without becoming satisfied too quickly. Every achievement deserves appreciation, but every achievement also becomes the starting point for new opportunities to grow. Confidence remains healthy when it is balanced by humility. Humility reminds you that there is always more to learn. Confidence reminds you that you are capable of learning it. Fear of failure becomes much smaller when learning becomes your primary goal. If success is the only acceptable outcome, every challenge feels dangerous. If learning is the goal, every experience creates value regardless of the immediate result. Success teaches what worked. Failure teaches what needs adjustment. Both outcomes contribute to future improvement. Keep a record of your progress. Write down new lessons, completed projects, books you have finished, skills you have developed, and challenges you have overcome. During difficult moments, reviewing this record reminds you how far you have already come. Confidence grows stronger when supported by evidence rather than temporary emotion. Another important lesson is recognizing that confidence should never depend entirely on external approval. Praise feels encouraging, but it should not become the foundation of your self-worth. Public opinion changes quickly. Some people will support your efforts. Others may misunderstand them. Your confidence becomes much more stable when it is based on your commitment to learning, honesty, and consistent improvement rather than constant recognition. There will always be moments when you encounter people who know more than you. Instead of feeling intimidated, become inspired. Every knowledgeable person demonstrates what is possible through dedication and continued learning. Their achievements remind you that excellence is developed, not inherited. Resilience and learning are closely connected. Every challenge introduces lessons that comfort cannot provide. Difficult conversations teach communication. Unexpected setbacks teach flexibility. Delayed success teaches patience. Responsibility teaches maturity. Life becomes an ongoing education for those willing to observe carefully. Never allow age to become an excuse for stopping your growth. Some of the most remarkable personal transformations happen later in life because experience provides greater perspective. The willingness to learn matters far more than the number of years behind you. A curious mind remains young because it continues exploring, questioning, and improving. At the end of each day, ask yourself one simple question: what did I learn today that I did not know yesterday? Some lessons will be practical, others will be deeply personal. Over time, this habit trains your attention to recognize growth in everyday experiences instead of waiting for extraordinary moments. As your knowledge expands, your confidence becomes quieter and more authentic. You no longer need to pretend you have every answer because you trust your ability to find them. You become comfortable admitting what you do not know because learning has become part of your identity. You approach new opportunities with curiosity instead of fear. You face unfamiliar situations with preparation instead of panic. Lasting confidence is not created by collecting achievements alone. It is created by becoming a lifelong student who understands that every day offers another opportunity to become wiser, stronger, kinder, and more capable than the day before. Continuous learning shapes the way you think, the way you solve problems, the way you build relationships, and the way you respond to change. Personal growth becomes more than a habit. It becomes the foundation upon which every future success is built. When you commit yourself to learning throughout your life, confidence stops being something you search for because it naturally grows alongside the person you are continually becoming. Chapter 10. Commit fully and improve every area of your life. Every meaningful journey eventually reaches a point where preparation is no longer enough. Reading, planning, learning, reflecting, and dreaming all have tremendous value, but none of them can replace commitment. There comes a moment when you must decide whether personal growth is simply an interesting idea or a permanent way of living. That decision shapes everything that follows. A person who commits fully stops treating improvement as something to do only when life feels convenient. Growth becomes part of daily life, regardless of changing circumstances. Many people want a better life, yet only a few truly commit themselves to building one. They begin with enthusiasm, but their effort fades when progress slows or unexpected difficulties appear. They wait for perfect conditions before giving their best. Unfortunately, perfect conditions rarely exist. Life continues presenting new responsibilities, unexpected problems, changing priorities, and moments of uncertainty. Waiting for everything to become easy often means waiting forever. Commitment is different from temporary motivation. Motivation rises and falls. Some mornings you wake up energized and ready to work. Other mornings feel heavy before the day even begins. Commitment remains steady through both experiences. It reminds you that your future deserves consistent effort, whether excitement is present or not. The strongest people are not those who always feel inspired. They are the ones who continue honoring their values, even when their emotions change. A fulfilling life is never built by improving only one area while neglecting everything else. Imagine someone who becomes financially successful but ignores their health. Another person develops impressive professional skills but allows important relationships to fade. Someone else builds physical strength while neglecting emotional maturity. Real success is balanced. It includes your character, your health, your relationships, your knowledge, your finances, your habits, your purpose, and your peace of mind. Every area supports the others. Begin by viewing your life as a complete picture instead of isolated pieces. Your physical health influences your mental clarity. Your emotional stability affects your relationships. Your financial decisions shape your future opportunities. Your daily habits determine your long-term results. Improving one area often creates positive change in another because every part of your life is connected. One helpful exercise is honestly evaluating where you stand today, not where you hope to be, not where you were years ago, simply where you are now. Consider your physical health, emotional well-being, personal relationships, financial responsibility, professional development, daily habits, and overall sense of purpose. Honest evaluation is not about judging yourself. It is about understanding your starting point clearly enough to move forward with intention. After recognizing your current situation, choose progress instead of perfection. Many people become overwhelmed because they believe every area must change immediately. Lasting transformation rarely happens that way. Instead, improve one small part of each area consistently. Drink more water each day. Read a few pages before bed. Save a little money every week. Spend uninterrupted time with someone you love. Organize one part of your home. Learn one useful idea each day. These actions appear simple, yet they quietly reshape your life because they continue long after temporary excitement disappears. Commitment also requires accepting responsibility for your standards. Your standards determine the quality of your actions. If your standard is simply getting through the day, your effort will reflect that expectation. If your standard becomes honesty, discipline, kindness, reliability, and continuous improvement, your choices gradually rise to meet those expectations. High standards are not about impressing others, they are promises you make to yourself about the kind of person you choose to become. There will always be reasons to postpone improvement. You may believe you need more time, better resources, greater confidence, or fewer responsibilities. Yet every stage of life presents new excuses if you allow them to become your guide. A busy schedule can become a reason to ignore your health. Temporary stress can become a reason to abandon good habits. Fear can become a reason to avoid meaningful opportunities. Commitment quietly refuses these excuses. It asks only one question: what is the best action available right now? Another essential lesson is learning to finish seasons well. Many people begin projects with enthusiasm, but lose interest before completion. Books remain half-read, goals remain unfinished, promises remain incomplete. Completing meaningful work strengthens your identity because it proves that your effort continues beyond the excitement of beginning. Every finished commitment becomes evidence that you can depend on yourself. Growth also requires accepting change without resisting it unnecessarily. Life will continue evolving. Your responsibilities will increase. Your priorities may shift. Relationships will develop in unexpected ways. New opportunities will appear while others disappear. Instead of fearing change, learn to respond with adaptability. A flexible person does not abandon their values when circumstances change. They simply discover wiser ways to express those values in new situations. Protect your peace while pursuing your ambitions. Many people become so focused on achievement that they forget why they wanted success in the first place. They sacrifice sleep, meaningful relationships, physical health, and inner calm while chasing goals that were meant to improve life, not consume it. Ambition becomes healthy when it remains connected to balance. Work hard, but also rest well. Pursue excellence, but remain grateful. Build your future without forgetting to appreciate the present. Another important principle is recognizing that your influence extends beyond yourself. Your habits affect your family. Your attitude influences co-workers. Your patience encourages your children. Your integrity inspires friends. Every improvement you make quietly benefits people around you. Personal growth is never completely personal because your character shapes every relationship you enter. Service gives deeper meaning to success. Achievement focused only on personal gain eventually feels incomplete. Helping others creates lasting fulfillment because it connects your growth to something larger than yourself. Share your knowledge. Encourage someone beginning their journey. Offer your time when possible. Perform your work with excellence because it improves the lives of those you serve. A meaningful life grows richer when your success creates value for others. Protect your time with the same care you would protect something priceless, because that is exactly what it is. Every day presents opportunities that can never be repeated. Avoid allowing unimportant activities to quietly replace meaningful experiences. Spend time with the people who matter. Continue learning, care for your body, build your skills, reflect on your values, invest your hours in actions that will still matter years from now. Celebrate progress regularly without becoming satisfied too early. Looking back at your improvement builds gratitude and confidence. Looking ahead reminds you that there is always another opportunity to grow. This balance keeps you motivated without becoming either discouraged or complacent. Expect occasional setbacks without allowing them to define your journey. There will be weeks when your routine becomes inconsistent. Unexpected problems may interrupt your plans. You may experience disappointment despite your best effort. These moments are not signs that growth has ended. They are opportunities to strengthen persistence. Return to your habits quickly instead of allowing temporary setbacks to become permanent patterns. Remain teachable throughout your life. Every person you meet knows something you do not know. Every experience contains lessons waiting to be noticed. Pride closes the door to learning. Humility keeps that door open. The more you continue learning, the more prepared you become for future opportunities. Gratitude deserves a permanent place in your daily life. Appreciate your progress without forgetting those who helped you along the way. Recognize the opportunities available today instead of focusing only on what remains unfinished. Gratitude creates contentment without reducing ambition. It reminds you that joy and improvement can exist together. Your morning choices deserve careful attention because they establish the direction of the entire day. Wake with intention. Prepare yourself mentally before allowing outside demands to take your attention. Begin with purpose rather than reaction. Small improvements made during the first hour often influence every hour that follows. Evening reflection is equally valuable. Before ending the day, ask yourself whether your actions reflected your values. Notice where you succeeded and where adjustment is needed. Avoid harsh judgment. Honest reflection, combined with practical correction, creates steady improvement over time. As the years pass, people may remember your accomplishments, but they will remember your character even more clearly. They will remember whether you kept your promises, treated people with respect, remained calm during difficulties, continued learning, accepted responsibility, and lived according to your principles. Character becomes the lasting legacy behind every achievement. Understand that growth has no final destination. There is no moment when you become complete and no longer need improvement. Every season introduces new responsibilities requiring new wisdom. Every success creates opportunities for greater service. Every lesson prepares you for another challenge. This ongoing process should encourage rather than discourage you because it means life continually offers fresh opportunities to become better. One powerful decision can transform the way you approach every future day. Decide that improvement is no longer something you attempt occasionally. Decide that it becomes your normal way of living. Every sunrise becomes another chance to practice patience, strengthen discipline, deepen wisdom, improve health, protect relationships, increase knowledge, and serve others with excellence. Ordinary days become meaningful because each one contributes to the person you are becoming. Your future is not created by wishes, intentions, or possibilities alone. It is created by repeated actions aligned with clear values. Every thoughtful decision, every responsible habit, every honest conversation, every lesson learned, every challenge faced with courage, and every opportunity used wisely becomes another stone in the foundation of your life. There will always be people who choose comfort over growth, excuses over responsibility, and hesitation over action. You are free to choose a different path. You can become someone who finishes what they begin, who continues learning regardless of age, who remains dependable during difficult seasons, who treats others with respect, who protects physical and emotional well-being, and who pursues excellence without sacrificing integrity. Imagine looking back years from now with quiet satisfaction rather than regret. Imagine knowing that you did not allow fear to make your decisions, that you did not waste your greatest potential through endless delay, and that you honored the opportunities placed before you with consistent effort. That future begins with the choices you make today. Commit fully to becoming the strongest version of yourself, not for a single week or a single year, but as a lifelong commitment. Improve your thinking so your decisions become wiser. Improve your habits so your actions become stronger. Improve your relationships so your influence becomes more meaningful. Improve your health so your energy supports your purpose. Improve your knowledge so your understanding continues expanding. Improve your character so every success rests upon a foundation that cannot easily be shaken. Life will continue presenting new challenges, but it will also continue offering new opportunities. Every day invites you to grow a little wiser, a little kinder, a little stronger, and a little more disciplined than before. That steady commitment becomes the quiet force that transforms ordinary years into an extraordinary life. The greatest achievement is not reaching a perfect destination. It is becoming a person who never stops growing, never stops learning, never stops serving, and never stops choosing the path that leads toward lasting purpose, lasting fulfillment, and lasting peace.